17 years, a place I'd called home, and it was on these early morning sea fishing trips, as we went out and saw the big battleships arriving, that my biggest fears were soon coming into life. It really was the calm before the storm. Everything looking so peaceful, such an incredible place to have called home for all this time.
Go, cast.
And this is my favourite type of fishing in Dubai, watching those kingfish shoot out the water, casting lures at them and trying to get a hook up.
Yes! Wow!
Guys, gas from this side, gas from this side.
No! Okay.
Front side, go front, throw front.
Yeah, guys, I need to get this fish a bit closer first. Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, Captain. One more, let's go.
So the last few days of winter, and we approached the Ramadan season closing when I was about to travel. So it was just time to get a few more fishing sessions in, this one at a friend's place in Palm Jumeirah. Fortunately, the country has incredible defence systems and they managed to keep it under control. But it was time for me to travel. I had no idea how long this situation was going to go on for, so I took the camper into France, searching for the most peaceful place, just to work away from home and enjoy a bit of fishing. Abbey Lakes run a great winter ticket for their members, people that go there regularly. And I had around 2 weeks left of the ticket, so I decided to challenge myself to try and catch a fish from every lake. So I had a plan, disappear for a while, I couldn't have picked a better place. And I owe it all to these two, Mark and Lou, who I'd met a couple of years ago, fishing in the summers. They really made it my home from home. And what started out as a quick chat those years ago has become an incredible friendship. Our love for fishing and Mark's knowledge of the complex and fishing in general is amazing. And looking at this beautifully hand-drawn map, I decided where to start this campaign. And Mark had mentioned Kingfisher just had one guy on, so we had half the lake each. And the mission begins. Camp set up, getting the rods out, find some spots, and get away from the world for a bit. And after all that stress going on back home, the carp cords really were looking after me. The first morning, into a huge take. I hadn't fished a winter since I was a kid, so being in these elements really was something new. But look at this prize coming into the net now.
Get in there!
And without the sling it went 55. Not one of the A-team unfortunately, but an incredible result for the first night in. And as this was a challenge vlog, that was my work done on Kingfisher, one in the bag. Whoa. Oh, that's an outtake. So welcome to Wild Boar, Abbey Lakes, second to smallest lake on the complex, 14 acres, and split between two bowls. So you've got shallow end up here, average about 5 or 6 foot, running all the way through to these channels. You've almost got like one kind of mini section channel, opens up a little bit, and you've got another channel, and then it goes down to the deep bowl, 20 foot. We're here, first week of March, water temperatures still averaging around 10 degrees, so I don't want to be too far in the deep. They are starting to come up now, and they're quite active. The fish have been moving around. I've been watching them on the drone. I've been seeing them bosh out all times of day, and they've actually been moving up and down. So they've been kind of using this as a highway, and yeah, I mean all times of the day they've kind of been around, but the hot spot's been on the left-hand area. So that's where I've got my rods positioned. And yeah, we had a beautiful 37-pound common. Really one of the nicest commons actually I've caught out the complex so far, so I was really surprised to see that. And there's 350s in here, so it's definitely not worth ignoring. There's good chance for a bite in here, I'd say. I wouldn't say it's exactly a runs water in the way of something back home, but if you're on the complex and you're looking for a bend in the rod with the chance of a 50, this is definitely a good bet. And in the middle of the night, had a nice common. I didn't weigh it, but it was a low 20. So yeah, my job is done here. 2 fish in one night session, and on to the next one. So good morning from Frog. Cool little place. I enjoyed this one actually. It was a quick session, less than 24 hours, 3 fish, and a cool one. Like, I don't know, I didn't weigh them to be honest with you, but they got to be high 20s, a couple of small ones. And yeah, I mean, they gave a good account for themselves. They were just plodding down into those deep depths, because it goes to about, I think about 13 foot I was in front of me. And there's not many snags or anything to worry about, but the fish really were plodding and fighting compared to the bigger fish that I've had off the complex. It's actually a really good, enjoyable way to fish. So 6 acre lake, 6 swims. It's normally on an exclusive, so I'm lucky to have fished it. Privileged actually in this winter ticket to have had the action. And lake exclusive, I was the only one here. I'm in swim 4, I'm in the middle. I always like to attack venues from the middle, and then you can kind of see if you need to be in the corners. And obviously when you've got the place to yourself, fortunate in these kind of situations, you always can send a rod long, which I did. I sent rods right in the corner, again up on the drone, saw them congregate far right hand corner, but that's not where the bites came from. There's a birch tree dead center of where I am in peg 4, about 2 or 3 wraps off the bank, and it just shelves off, and it's just rocky as you like. And yeah, that was the rod that just did all the business. 3 bites, 1 rod. I tried a zig on the left. I did have a couple of bleeps, but I was in the van. I'm just set back just a little bit back from the swim, and yeah, didn't get a chance to hit into the zig, but they were bites. They were bites. I had one that actually tugged it like, and I came down and it wasn't there, and I thought, should I bring it in? And I'm fishing an adjustable, and I thought, if I'm gonna go out crashing again, it's quite an intimate venue. It's long and thin, so you don't want to be making too much disturbance. I mean, the boat's coming in and out every time I'm doing a fish, and I always think when you catch a fish, there's trauma in the area. You know, that fish darting around, doing its dives and splashing around and stuff like that, definitely traumatizes the area, and the fish don't like it, and it takes some time. I mean, if they're all in on one spot and they're all feeding, then, as we know, competition is competition. You'll catch fish. But if it's like they've just snatched something, you've had one bite, and then you traumatize the area with that bite, it will take some time for the action to get going again. But yeah, the action started for me late afternoon, but just before, I think about 5 o'clock was the first bite. And yeah, fortunately, I know it sounds crazy, but no bites through the night. So they were all late afternoon, evening. Now I guess that's when the sun had warmed everything up, and they just got on the munch before hibernating over these kind of chillier evenings, down to about 5 degrees last night. It's still not spring, or it's still the first week of March. So yeah, mission 3 complete. Wow, 3 to go, 6 lakes. I'm halfway there, but it's halfway through the easier lakes. Wild Boar and now Frog and Kingfisher done. Kingfisher, I had the big one, so the 55 pound on Kingy. Very, very happy with that. What a way to start the trip. And now the hard ones start. So Heron, Atilla, and Fox. Fox is my nemesis. I've had 3 blanks on there, only short sessions, a couple of days here and there. Heron I've had a fish out of, but Heron took me a week to get a fish. And Atilla I've never fished. So I've got 3 lakes. Let's say 1, I'm up against it. The other 2 could be a challenge. And we are now on 4th of March. So 10 days today. In 10 days, those gates open. And I've heard there's 16 people coming on to Heron, 16.
and there's multiple people across the complex. Now, if I decide to stay on, pay for another week to continue fishing here because I haven't completed the challenge, is debatable right now. But at the moment I'm focused on getting fish out of those 3 lakes in 10 days. So it really means 3 days. In each 3 days I've got to be catching a fish. And Atilla I've never fished before, so I don't know. I'm completely clueless. The other lakes I have fished, I know roughly. I mean, I've got a few spots on the boat. I kind of know my way around them, so I should be okay. But yeah, wild boar was new for me. Hadn't caught there, and to have a couple of fish out of it. Frog was new for me. 3 fish out of it. Kingfisher I had fished in the summer, but it also took me a week to get going, and I had a fish in 48 hours. And it being a big one just shows the quality of this complex and what is achievable in a short period of time. So if you come out for a week, if you fish well, you ask Mark and the guys here, you ask the people that have fished it on the banks, get a bit of knowledge, you will catch fish. So this is the sign out from Frog. Over and out, and I just need to decide where to go now. I'm gonna have a drive around. The lakes haven't switched on, to be honest with you. People have been on for a few days and struggling. The odd fish is coming out, but Atilla, fox and heron, they're not fishing easy. So the reason why I kind of boxed these lakes off first was kind of waiting for the harder ones to switch on. And I mean, it's 8 o'clock in the morning now, so I'm ready to move. And it may well be that it seems to be morning and night bites, those lakes, that when they have caught. So maybe I'm going to get the update that it's all switched on, that everyone's caught. And that'll be, the stars aligning. But you never know, right? Could be the opposite, and I might need to sit and wait. And that's going to then eat into the 3-day limit of trying to catch a fish on each lake. So fingers crossed they have switched on. Temperatures are warming up, so it may well be a case that at some point they do. So over and out from Frog.
And the forecast was good for the next week, a lot of sunny days. It was easy to spot that big Chinese blue sitting in a shoal of huge carp. That Chinese blue over 110 pounds. I sat for a week in front of those fish. You would have thought they would be easy to catch all sat together like that, but I couldn't buy a bite. I tried everything in my armoury, my solid bags, my go-to spinners, zigs on the top. Nothing would get those fish to feed. They just weren't interested.
Here we are at Abbey Lakes yet again. Get my hands cold so she don't go mad on me.
And the big boss with a lovely comment showing us all how it's done.
Get in there.
fox was starting to wake up, and now it was my turn. Lovely big fish directly under the power lines.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Whoa. Woo. That'll do. You got it? Pretty much. Bloody hell. Mate, that's bigger than 55, mate. That's for sure. Right. Camera all over the place. I'm taking that like that. There we go. This camera's here. The camera's here, so if we can get it around to that way, it'd be awesome, yeah.
So it's 60 and a half.
Lovely fish though.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't 60.
Proper chunk, isn't it?
Feels heavier, mate. Wow.
Right. Let's connect the water.
Nemesis fox for me, finally got one of the bigger ones. Amazing, thank you very much, mate. So, good morning from Attilla, peg 5. Well, it's pretty much midday, to be honest with you. But yeah, we're in here, been here for 3 days now. I think it's 7 fish to count through, 6 or 7 we've had, with the biggest being that 42 common. Been catching them just over that, over the edge of that ledge on the way to that power line. Power lines really just seem to do the business on this complex, whether it's fox, heron, now Attilla. If you're right underneath those power lines, it's always seems to be a magnetizing place for the fish to come to revisit, to hold up sometimes. But the wind has literally just switched on an easterly, so I've only got 2 rods out because it's just two spots for me that are producing, that one straight ahead and that one far into the right in the bay. I've got to be honest about this. As soon as I come in, I didn't know Attilla. It was the first time I'd fished it, and I'd heard that the guy was catching fish in 5. So I thought, right, let's slot into 5 where it'd been doing fish. And I just sent the boat out on an area scan. I just literally set it up on my tripod system here. So the boat's, that's seen some damage, hasn't it, over the last few months. So yeah, I just have it on my tripod set up with my phone sitting there. And I just sent it out on an area scan. I quite often do this when I just don't know a lake. Trust me, I don't care what anyone says. Fish do not spook by that boat unless you're doing donuts in it, or you're really kind of like with the propellers just whizzing it around. If you put it on stealth mode, so you hit I think it's where is it? This one, top right hand corner, that turns all the lights and the motor's down. And when that boat is going, if you're in a little bit of a chop like what we've got today, as long as it's not bouncing over the waves, but it can't be flat still. If it's flat still, and obviously the fish are in the upper layers, they'll see it. But if there's a little bit of a chop, those fish do not spook. So I'm not scared to do an area scan, and that's what I did. I put the boat out. I literally did a big box around this bay as it kind of cuts off from the main center of the lake on that side. So I just did this box, and I'll show up the Fish Deeper, the Deeper app. And yeah, I just found 2 spots, literally holes, ledges as you kind of come off the shallow areas. One, as I said, here on the straight ahead, one on the right, and almost symmetrical, kind of identical looking holes. Quite big, I'd say a bit bigger than a bivvy, wide,
and 15 foot, and we're in March and 15 foot. And what I've been catching, don't know if I'd mentioned on the last videos, but pink corn in small bags with manila pellet, the smallest kind of bag mix. And yeah, that's just been doing the damage with the double fruity squid corded pink corn. Really short, nice little rigs. Tried a few different hooks, to be honest with you, and it doesn't seem to matter in the bag whether it's a wide gape X or the cranks. They've both been doing the damage. The crank is quite a big hook for the bag. Obviously, you've got really sharp points on them karakuras, so you want to make sure that you're not piercing through the pellet. But yeah, Attilla 5. I'll call it 7 fish. I think it was 7. I have to count them now. But nothing on this morning, so it would have been nice to have had 1 or 2. And the plan of action is to now get back on my nemesis, heron. It's the last one on the list. It's just don't know what it was. I was sitting in front of the best part of 50 fish for a week there. I'm going to put the drone footage up. You might have seen it already in this video. But now, after analysing it clearer, a lot of people are saying that they were grass carp. And if I've sat in front of a week of grassies and not had a fish, it's just unfortunate. But you know, it's been a little bit slow on heron. It hasn't really woken up yet through these winter kind of like temperatures, but it's only a matter of time. And I've got 24 hours. So peg 10's literally just come available. One guy's just had a mooch around here, told me 10's available. And I know, having started, before I went into 14, when I started in 10 at the beginning of this video, unbelievable. That's where I found my spots. I sent the drone up. I've got them all mapped out on the deeper. I know exactly where I want to be. In between the weed bed on the left and in between the weed bed as you kind of come out straight ahead across the spit. There's 2 nice polished areas there. And with this easterly, I think that they're either following it or they're on the back of it. And wherever there's a kind of wind break, wherever there's a line, there's a little bit of calm water tucked around those kind of bays. It's obviously a little bit colder this easterly. So, and if you feel a nip in the air. So I think that they'll be sat in those little corners, especially in the daytime. So just got to chuck this stuff in the van. There she is. Yeah, take me about 5-10 minutes just to wrap up all these little bits, get everything in. And the only problem is with 10 is I'm going to be covered by clouds. So it's been lovely to be here in Attilla, to be honest with you. I mean, to get solar, I mean, look at this for spring temperatures. We're only mid-March. It's been glorious. It's not my favourite to fish under the power lines, to be honest with you. When you're in the van, you don't really hear it, feel it. But yeah, it's not my favourite, as in, you know, aesthetically. I wouldn't choose to be under them, but the fish love them. So yeah, been the power lines for 3 days and happy to have knocked Attilla off the list. And let's see what we can do with heron in 24 hours. Signing out.
All the lakes completed except for heron, and just 24 hours to make it happen. And just like how that session had started on Kingfisher, it was all in the hands of the carp gods.
So here we are, final day, 1 day to make it happen. This is no joke. This is not for the video. This is serious. It's the last day and the last lake to tick off my nemesis, which has been heron 15 now. Sent the drone up and they were there. Chinese blue, my nemesis fish. We think he hangs around with a few grassies, but there was definitely carp in the area here. So as you come out, this is like a little bay that kind of cuts off, and that easterly is still banging straight down. It's quite cold, so sitting here is not too much fun. But yeah, there was fish over there on the left. Chinese blue was just about there, and there was fish all the way up. And I think there's a spot just off the corner of the island there, which has done quite a few fish. So rods are out, same tactics, small PVA bags, manila kind of stick mix, solid bag mix, and yeah, just those Corda double bink corn fruity squids. It's just been absolutely destroying the place. since I've been here. Seems to be the whole complex, they all love it. So 24 hours, we've got to pray for something special. I mean, to be honest, I'll be happy with a 25 pounder. I've told the guys, like, it's just not about the size anymore. I want to complete this challenge, so it really will mean the world to catch a fish in here. Let's see, it's less than 24 hours actually. It's about 3 o'clock now, so I've got the rods out. I think this has done a few day bites, but I think it'll be the night. I'm still fishing in 15 foot. I found my spots on the ledge. Fingers crossed for this special last day. Now she's coming out into the deeper water. See if we can bump this light up a little bit. There we go. Oh, there she goes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Got a rod very close to that. She wants to go. To go. I've not got this clutch on very tight, but it's all deep water in front of me, so let her tire herself out. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, be good to me. Alright, looks like she's giving up. She's giving up. Got a decent, oh, do you know what? That might be my first limb. I'm not sure, but I've just seen as it's turned. Come on, you're not having that. You're not having that much line. It's quite long, and it had a nice lateral scale pattern on its side. So, oh dear, something else has just boshed over there while I'm playing this. It's all coming alive over there. I can't She's absolutely going nuts on the surface. Can't tighten it up any more than it is with this hook link. It's just risky. It's not as much as I'd like to beast them. With these solid bags, you don't really want anything. You don't really want anything too. Come on, stopping you there. Give it up. Come on. This way. Here we go. It's a nice long fish, isn't it? That is a nice long fish. Come on. 3 seconds away, and you are in. I've done it. I have done it. I fish from every lake. Done it. Oh yes. And you will do, mate. It's not the linear I thought it might be, but it's wicked, isn't it? Look at the scales on it. It's wicked. Well, it's all come good. I didn't think I was going to do it. I honestly didn't have the confidence, but they're boshing it out left, right and centre. So spotting them on the drone today. And it's my nemesis, it's where the Chinese blue was, but I saw that they were more active than they were when I was in the other swim behind me last week. Yeah, they were proper active, moving about. And look at that. What a fish. What an absolute unit. Sling out the way for you. Spin around this way. Okay. There we go. Oh dear. We've done it. 42 pound. Lovely big belly on her. Let's get this light off so you can see her properly on the camera now. There we go. Here she comes. We've made it. Proper long, old, beautiful apple slices on her. Big old scales, big old rudder. Big red eyes, big gobbly goldfish eyes, and an
That's belly on that, look at that. What an absolute season maker. Winter ticket, 6 legs, box them off, 57, 55, 242s, and this finisher. Yes, we made it. The final moments, winter ticket, 6 out of 6 legs, challenge is complete. What a campaign it's been. Unbelievable memories, starting off in Kingfisher. I think I hadn't fished before, actually 9, 10. I'd normally fished on the other side, 5. The guy was in 5 catching. Wasn't so confident. There wasn't so many fish in front of me, but the first morning I'd seen them in peg 8 up on the ledge, far bank, and I thought I need to replicate that, get a rod out there, positioned in the night, ready for the morning. Seemed to be doing a fish a day, and yeah, caught that 55 pretty much straight off the bat. So I think within 24 hours of arriving on the complex, an amazing start to the campaign. Moving through the complex, having a lot of fun on wild boar, on Attilla, on frog. Really good fun to catch a few fish. Finished up to 7, I think, in Attilla, 5 in frog, and yeah, dropping in on fox. Just believe it, within 10 minutes that rod's peeled off, and my biggest fish of the complex now, 57 pound. I thought it was 60. The thing was an absolute unit. And yeah, the biggest nemesis was heron. So sitting here, facing into a swim that I've managed to complete it, 2 fish. That really cool 42-pound, gnarly looking kind of dinosaur looking thing, almost like the Devonshire kind of strain, with a nice apple slice on the sides of it. But yeah, just set back from the opposite of me, peg 14, where I'd sat in front of those fish for a week. Can you imagine a whole week I'd sat there without any motion, any carp motion. I had about 5, 6 tench, but yeah, none of those fish just seemed to be uncatchable at the time. That Chinese blue, 110 pound that fish is, and yeah, he was sat there for a week with his whole swarm of buddies, but they just weren't having it. I mean, they were quite static. They were just sitting there, I think, enjoying the sunshine, because it was the first few days of sunshine, and we've had sunshine this couple of days. But what's been different is we had this big easterly wind punching straight in my face, and I think that they've been sat on the back of that bay just a little bit in the thermocline of the warmer temperature, away from that cold easterly. And as you know, I'd fished a little bit short. You don't really want to kind of shoot yourself all the way to the front, thinking that they might come short. I'd started short. I'd won progressively out a little bit in a kind of arc, my 3 rods, and yeah, it was the left hander and the middle rod. The right hander on the island, which I thought was my banker island, didn't do anything, and they were all to the left. And then this morning, yeah, you can see from a little bit of the footage, they were just short in. And yeah, those little bags, little quarter bags with sticky manila, solid bag mix, double fake corn, fruity squid from Corda, absolutely teared up a place, the complex. I have to say, you know, I've been very fortunate, because a lot of people struggled. I don't know if it's down to the bait, tactics, location, whatever it was. Some people sit on their rods like I did for 7 days over there, and you know, that's what we've done, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity, let's say, being stuck out of Dubai, as it is, sort of not been able to go back, but been able to sit out the campaign a little bit longer than what I had expected. But yeah, I'm really chuffed to have completed it with 6 out of 6 fish. And some of the flakes I'd never fished before, so I'd only ever fished fox, heron, and kingfisher. So to do Atilla, frog, and wild boar for the first time definitely gives you. And the funny thing is, there's synergy between the lakes. So if the fish are sitting in one bay on one lake, you can move to the other one knowing that they're going to be roughly symmetrical, or to a feature, or away from the wind, or you know, kind of holding up in the sun, for example, you know, equidistantly, you know, to each lake. So it's definitely a good thing to move around the complex if you can. if you're fortunate enough to let Mark for Mark to let you move on to different places, which he does. If there's a place around the complex, and I've been quite fortunate, obviously through the winter ticket, and until now there has been a decent amount of room for us to fish where we're not bothering anybody. Nobody's kind of been going opposite each other or kind of encroaching on each other's territory. So that's a benefit of coming in on the winter ticket. So yeah, signing out from Abbey Lakes, 6 out of 6. Definitely be back again. Still many fish. I haven't had a named fish out of here, so that's probably my next challenge to come back. Now I've got a bit of a better picture. I think it's my 3rd time at Abbey Lakes, and yeah, that'll be the one to try and either catch the named fish that I name, or to catch already named fish. So anything over 60 you get to name if it hasn't been caught before, and there's going to be a lot of new 60s. That's the beauty of this place. They're growing on and on. There's so many 50s in all of the lakes. So it's just a matter of time until all those start coming out at higher weights, and most probably in the next few weeks we're going to start seeing some of those 60s. And as it's like, we'll all be watching the social media thinking, oh, that could have been me, that should have been me. But yeah, sometimes you got to make it happen and just be out there, put the time in, put the effort in, and get the rewards with the luck of the Carp gods. So yeah, signing out from Abbey Lakes, on to the next adventure. And with things back home still not completely stable, I decided to get in the camper and start off for a new session for the spring and summer. It had been an incredible few weeks in France, enjoying life at Abbey Lakes, cooking up some great meals in the camper, spending time with Mark and Lou, a couple of great nights out with them. And now it's time to start some syndicates in the UK. More on that coming soon.